So what's
How
up?
are you today?
Very good, very good. So
I apologize for missing the last date. Sorry about that, but thank you for having me back. I greatly appreciate it.
no problem. Luke Love, Psycho Circus, New York City. Hey man, what's going on? I know you maybe 25 years, maybe?
From where?
Frenchie, 1983.
Oh my God.
Don't you
What,
remember I did your press photos in my room upstairs in my other house,
where was your house located at, Brian?
Island.
Oh my God. Well, thank you for that. Maybe we'll hang out one day. I don't know if you still have anything. It's interesting that you say that because Nicky, my drummer from Frenchie, contacted me yesterday and he goes, Luke, somebody sent me a video of us playing Butterfields and we had Trickster opening up for us.
Wow.
And he said, I have all this footage and we're backstage with the guys from Trickster and all of us are just having a really good time and we're all cracking up and being the buffoons that most of us were in the 80s. So having a good time. I said, I'm looking forward to seeing that, Nick. You gotta send that to me.
Yeah, yeah. I'll send you some of your pictures, actually. I
Oh man.
took about 100 shots, so like I got plenty of them, you know.
Well, you know what? I would be happy to take you out to lunch or dinner and we just shoot the shit and I'll get Nikki to join us. That would be fun.
Sounds good to me, man. Sounds good to
Let,
me.
let's make it happen after this interview, okay, my friend?
No problem. No problem. So the first band you started was with Frenchie or before that?
I was in, like everybody else, I was in garage bands before that, but Frenchie was my first legitimate band. And we had a lot of things going on and we pretty much ourselves self-destruct.
Right. Wow, wow. And Tony Harnell was part of that band too, right?
And everything else. Are you still there, my friend?
Yes, yes, I'm
But
here.
someone was trying to call me and I don't know why, like, whatever. Anyway, we self-destructed. We had a bidding war for us with Virgin Records and
Right.
CBS and Atlantic. We were down at Atlantic Records and a lot was going on, but we were our own worst enemies due to back in those days.
Right.
Need I say more than sex, drugs, and rock and roll?
Right. Yeah, definitely, definitely. But like your lineup, you had some very popular people in that band, like Tony Harnell and Kelly Nichols, and you know, seems like you guys were taking off right away.
We really were. Tony was a great friend, and still today we haven't spoken much recently, but every now and then somehow our paths cross, and it's always nice to see Tony. Great person. Haven't seen Kelly since Queens, man.
Right.
Uh,
Wow.
Queens. You know, just a lot of good things. Really, I was blessed. It's something that you look back on fondly. You look back on and you smile and go, you know what?
Right.
Those are really good days, memorable days.
Cool. 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 Now with the album that came out in '87, Lipstick Ammunition, right? That was
Yeah,
the
lipstick,
album,
yes, lipstick ammunition. That's correct.
right? So and then after that you had Seduction City in '87 or
That-
'84 to '87.
That's correct. That's
Wow.
correct.
Wow.
You're well informed, Brian.
Thank you. Thank you. And then you had you know, Sex with High Price. That was a cassette.
Sex with a high price tag. That was actually our logo on our we had Frenchie shirts that had Frenchie with a big kiss on it, and we had a photo of Betty Page
Right.
imposed on the shirt, and Betty Page was kneeling in stockings and everything. And our banner that went across her eyes,
Right.
and it said Frenchie, and underneath it, it said sex with a high price tag.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Again, I
Yeah,
got some of the old Aquarians that I see ads all the time and stuff like that. So I still have them, so it's pretty cool. Yeah.
yeah, I remember we were in Good Times in the Aquarium when we got signed, and
Right.
we played February's, and they gave us like the front cover and the middle spread, and it was a big to do thing, because a lot of New York bands were signing, getting signed, but they were going over to California to get signed, and it was really a great time for music in general, and for the fans, and for the people that just liked rock and roll. It was a great time, the '80s, you know.
Oh, definitely, definitely. That was the best time I think of all, actually. You know.
I tend to agree with you. It was mayhem, it was debauchery, it was sexism at its peak, you know. It was just
Right,
everything mom told you not to do and warned you about. Well, the people of the '80s, we were indulging in it all.
right. Wow, wow. Now we go to Psycho Circus, New York City. Tell me a little bit when the band started, and tell me a little bit about. I know you're on tour and playing all over the place, so you're doing really good.
This is correct. We've been very blessed. We were in a band called me and Ace, that plays Ace, which is my dear friend Pat Papora.
Right,
We were in a band for 13 years together called Kiss Alive NYC. We were very famous.
right.
People would say we were the premier Kiss tribute band in the whole country. We were playing in, from San Francisco, Seattle, Washington, Oregon, West Coast, East Coast, Middle America. Paul Schaefer from the David Letterman band hired us to play private parties for him.
Wow,
As a matter of fact, Paul was very cool. Him and his wife, Catherine, they're outstanding, generous, kind, beautiful people.
right.
They had us do a function for them up in Katona, New York. And we did, and they had a Lady Gaga tribute that went on before us, and an Elvis before her. And I'm watching this girl, and I swear, I thought it was the real Lady Gaga because she had the backup sing. I mean, I knew it wasn't, but I
Right,
couldn't believe how remarkably good she was, and
right.
looked like her. Having said that, Paul got us VIP tickets to see the real Kiss
Uh-huh.
on the David Letterman show, which was being filled at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then got us VIP to that our band. And then after that, they gave us VIP for that same night at 8 p.m. Kiss was coming back and doing a worldwide concert on the World Wide Web for an hour.
Hmm.
So we got to see that, and that was really kind and generous of them. We had a great time with Paul Schaefer, but we've done so much. We played for the USO, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines, on military bases. We've been high, low, north, west, east, up in Canada, Central America, all over the place. But when that band number was up, um, I started this band called Psycho Circus with Ace, and we got two other members that have been around, in playing in different bands all over the place as well, and really good musicians and great guys, Bobby and Jeff. And we're putting everything into this. We're having a really good time. We're exploding. People are hiring us left and right to do shows. We're having a good time, and that, Brian, if you're not having a good time, stop. Don't do it anymore.
Right,
Because if you're just in it strictly for money, people could see right through that. And I know bands that do it just for the money. I'm not going to name names because I'm not a hater, and I don't want to talk negative about anybody.
right,
But I see them do that, and I'm like, I don't understand why they do that, because they look like they're not having a good time. You got to have a
right.
good time. Do you agree with that, Brian?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. You know. Now with so many like Kiss tribute bands and cover bands and stuff like that, is there any kind of competition between you and other Kiss tribute bands?
Well, I leave that for the fans to make the decision. There's always bands and people in bands that are going to talk and say whatever they want to say, and that's okay. I don't
Right.
have an issue with anybody saying whatever they want to say. That's okay. We get out there and we do what we do extremely well, and
Right.
we let the audience and the people decide who they like, and that's okay. That's what America's about. It's freedom of choice, right?
Right.
You do what you like, and you like who you like.
Hmm.
So I'm never going to put another Kiss band down. What I will say about our band is just that if you like old school Kiss,
Right.
if you like the stuff up to when it was the original four, not to say anything negative about any members of Kiss, past, present, and future. I have respect for all of them. They're all great in their own right.
Right.
But my favorite rendition of Kiss, my favorite lineup is the Fab Four, the original four:
Right.
Peter, Ace, Paul, and Gene. That's just the way it is for me. But for anybody else, hey, whatever their flavor is, their taste is good for them. I don't,
Right.
debate them or tell them anything else. That's just it. So we do, a few songs from, the later version of Kiss. We do
Right.
some stuff, but we're mostly old school Kiss. She, Watching
Right.
You, Parasite, Hotter Than Hell, Firehouse, Cold Gin, Black Diamond. All the classic Kiss. We do that, but then we throw in a few modern stuff for people that came along later, like modern day Delilah, like
Right.
the song Psycho Circus. We're called Psycho Circus, so we better play the song Psycho
Yeah.
Circus.
Yeah.
Um, Modern day Delilah, Hide Your Heart, Tears Are Falling, Heaven's on Fire.
Right.
Those were all later songs, but
Mhm.
I Love It Loud.
Right.
With the great Eric Carr on drums on that song. So the late great Eric Carr. So there's a little bit for everybody, but people will see us, number one, having fun as we're doing it.
Right.
Number two, they'll hear a pretty accurate rendition of us playing off of Kiss Alive 1, as
Right.
far as the raps and the choreography and all of that stuff.
Mhm.
And like I said, there's a lot of tribute bands, and you name it, whether it's Kiss or Aerosmith or the Beatles or whatever, and everybody has their niche. And one thing I know, and I won't speak, like I said, against any other band, but I know what we do well. And
Right.
I know it because of the reaction of the fans. And they go into a frenzy, and they're having a great time, and we're having a great time, and we're very appreciative in this day and age of people coming to see us, because money's tight out there, my friend, and
Yeah.
they could spend their hard-earned money going anywhere else. I mean,
Right.
heck, to go to McDonald's to eat something decent costs you $20,
Yep. Yeah. It
so
does.
so you'll eat that in 5 minutes when you could spend any amount of money from $10 to 40, $50 to come see us. But
Hmm.
for 2 hours, you're going to get your money's worth. You're going to walk out of there and say, you know what? I had a damn good time.
Right.
I didn't go in there and these guys were boring, or they seemed like they didn't want to be there. We'll stay and we'll take pictures with everybody until it's over and there's no one else to take pictures with. We won't run off like, some bands do. We'll sign autographs until every autograph is signed. We'll take pictures under the Kiss logo lit up with everybody, and there's no one else to do it, because we feel you paid your hard-earned money. Well, you know what? We're going to give you your money's worth in every way that we possibly can.
Right. 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 Now everything's original, right? You sing, you play all your instruments and everything
There
else.
is no type of tapes or any nonsense like that. Everything is authentic. Us singing, us playing, just everything. It's authentic. It's us. It's
Right.
it's nobody else. And I'll leave it at that. I'll leave. Once again, it's just the four of us playing and singing, and
Right.
doing the choreography and putting on the makeup and having a damn good time. Hey, listen, man, when we get dressed up in the war paint, every show is Halloween. Come
Right.
on, Brian. Do you know anybody that doesn't like Halloween, doesn't like to get dressed up?
Everybody does.
We
Everybody
all
does.
do. And every
Yeah.
show for us is Halloween.
Ain't it a little expensive to put your show on?
It is expensive. We have smoke, we have fire, we have flames, we have sparkle cannons, we have tornadoes, we have, the Kiss lights, the outfits. I mean, these outfits all cost upwards of over $2,000 per outfit, depending on,
Right.
the member in the band, and the lights are expensive, and the props, and every time you spend money, and the makeup costs money. But you know what? It's something we love to do.
Right.
If
Yeah.
if we didn't like it or we didn't love it, we wouldn't do it.
Hmm.
I mean, nothing's worse than doing something you don't like to do. What did you say? That's right, Brian?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Now Ian Chris, he hooked us up for this interview. What has he done for you?
Ian is an outstanding gentleman. As many people may affiliate with him with the band Rock Candy as their lead singer and front man. And I kind of met. I was introduced to Ian through our Gene in the band, Bobby, and with Ian comes Ashley, his partner, as I would say in crime. Ashley, Shirley, they have their management booking agency company, and we met and we talked over some things that we'd like to proceed and move forward with, and we got on the same page, and they've been helping us with promos, and they've been getting some shows for us, and they're just, we feel fortunate to know them. They're really good people, and we love them. We love both of them, and they've been working on our behalf diligently and moving forward. And it's a great thing. It's great to meet great people that are on the same page as you. Things just it's good to get along and like who you're working with, and we have the utmost respect for Ashley and Ian.
Cool. Now, you ever change up your set at all?
All the time. We never played the same set back to back. If
Right.
you see us today and you see us tomorrow, the set will be different. Yes, we leave all the hits that have to be in there. Deuce has to be in there. Detroit's Rock City has to be in there. Firehouse has to be in there. Rock and Roll All Night has to be in there. And most of the time, Beth has to be in there. Not every time, but most of the time. Cold Gin is mostly in there. Dr. Love is mostly in there. But we'll throw in Parasite, we'll throw in Hotter Than Hell, we'll throw in Got to Choose, we'll throw in She, we'll throw in Watching You, and the list goes on and on of all the great Kiss stuff. So we change it up. If you came to see us on a Friday night and we played on a Saturday night, you'd see two different sets, 100%.
Wow. Wow. Pretty cool. It sounds like you guys play all the best tunes too.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's funny because I remember as a kid, I was over one of my good friend's house, Jay Ponciano, and I'm over Jay's house, and we're in his bedroom listening to records, and he hands me the first Kiss album, and my response to that was, "Who are these clowns?"
Right. Yeah.
Because of the white makeup.
Hmm.
And next thing I know is he puts on Strutter. That's the first Kiss song I ever heard. When I heard that song, I said, "Give me back that album." I
Wow. Yeah.
started,
Yeah. Yeah.
I started looking at the album, like memorizing every square inch of the album. And
Right.
later on, it became great because on the first album, if you look on the back, it says, "Thanks to the great, magnificent Eddie Solon." And I
Right.
had become very good friends with Eddie. Eddie was the guy that did Kiss's early demos when they first got together,
Right.
and I did a lot of recording at. He owned a studio called Backstreet Studios in the Bronx
Right.
under the L, and then he moved on up to North Lake Studios where he worked with Ace up there because he was Ace's best man at Ace's wedding, and I got to go to Ace's when Ace went solo and he did his Freely's Comet at SIR Studio. I was invited to that through Eddie Solon, and I got to see Ace's first showcase, and you
Right.
had Richie Stotts there from the Plasmatics and all these other rockers, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty good to see that.
Right. Right. What was the first Kiss concert you went to?
The first Kiss concert I went to was, I would say, Dressed to Kill, the Hot in the Hell thing, and I was just blown away. It was at in the Academy in Jersey,
Uh-huh.
and I was just I couldn't believe what I was seeing.
Hmm.
I was hoarse when I got out of there. So, as was all my friends, we were just, we were yelling like maniacs and just
Right. Yeah.
blown away. We could because you know what? There's so many great musicians and great, bands and everything, but nobody had seen anything like that. And I was a big Alice Cooper fan because Alice put on that theatrical show, but Kiss was different. It
Right.
was just different than Alice. And up to today, I still love original Alice Cooper with the Billion Dollar Babies band. That was like
Right.
great. I met some of those guys, Dennis Dunaway, Neil A. Smith, Michael Bruce. Um, but like I said, Kiss was just, Paul Stanley did it for me. When I saw him, I'm like, I want to do that. I want to do that. I mean, he just, epitomized rock stardom. Even if
Right.
they weren't like tremendous stars then, they act like they were. And, they really set the bar for so many musicians today, from Tom Morello to Dimebag to so many musicians that you would never think were tremendous Kiss fans are. And they touch the nerve in all of us. Very diversified people love Kiss.
Right.
Garth Brooks loves Kiss.
Yeah.
So you could go on and on and on. They just touch the nerve that none of us will ever be the same from you know what
Right.
they did for rock and roll.
Right. Right. So what's your favorite Kiss album?
I'm gonna tell you, I was on Steve Rock Fantasy Records or Rock Fantasy something
Uh-huh.
program, and he had a bunch of us on this Zoom channel, and it was Battle of the Two Albums, which was the first Kiss album and
Hmm.
Hotter Than Hell. And
Right.
it was which between those two albums, which do you think is the best? And Hotter Than Hell won out, but I did not vote for Hotter Than Hell, even though I love
Right.
it to death. I voted for the first Kiss album, and I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
The first Kiss album is what set the precedent for me. When
Hmm.
I heard Deuce and I heard Strutter and I heard Nothing to Lose and I heard Firehorse and I heard Black Diamond and I heard 100,000, I was never the same.
Right. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love Hotter Than Hell. I mean, Got to Choose, Parasite, Strange Ways. You go on and on. Great, great, great album. And I think Hotter Than Hell won in that little, you know, debate by I think it might have been 7 votes to 6 or something like that around that, won by 1 or 2 votes. But my reasoning, some of the guys you got to understand that was on there got into Kiss later on. They got into
Right.
Kiss like when there was no makeup on. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So I could understand why they might have been influenced a little differently, but it has to be the first album for me because, oh, those were the hits that just blew me away. All those songs were on Kiss Alive 1. Um, that was the introduction, the world to Kiss. It was just debauchery, mayhem, and just balls to the wall rock and roll. Couldn't
Right.
believe what I was saying. To me, Ace Frehley back then when he first came out, oh my God, he was so unorthodox, his playing. It was
Right.
so different. If you listen to Got to Choose, you listen to Strange Way, you listen to so many songs that he did, the way he plays, you're just like, this guy he is from another planet. That's
Right.
what, Ace was a guitar god for me for so many years.
Right.
Paul Stanley was the rock star, the god. You got the demon, you got the Catman. Need I say more? I mean, so many Kiss fans will pretty much reiterate exactly what I'm saying to you, Brian.
Right. Wow. Wow. What's your feelings about the Madison Square Garden shows that Peter and Ace weren't part of it?
Okay, that's a very touchy subject, but I'll tell you straight from the heart how I felt. I
Uh,
feel Peter and Ace are their own worst enemies. I love them to death. Paul Stanley said it best. We could have never made it without Peter and Ace,
mhm.
but we could have never stayed together with Peter and Ace. For example, I have some. I had become very good friends with Bill Aucoin. I have literally 13 DVDs. Bill was managing my band, not the bands now, was managing my band called Star with 2 R's before we lost Bill, and everybody today across the world misses Bill Aucoin. What a great guy.
Mhm.
Um, but I learned a lot of things from Bill that I did not know inside things, plus other people that I won't name because I don't know if they're comfortable with me saying what I know.
Right.
But I know this. I know Ace. I love Ace. I'll always love Ace. I'll always love Peter. I'll always love the original 4 Kiss members. But Peter and Ace cut their feet out from underneath them. By the way, they had intentions to have Ace and Peter play the last shows, a bunch of them actually. It
Mhm.
was this is a fact. I won't say who said it, but I know these people are legitimate, trust me.
Mhm.
And what happened was Ace was on someone that I respect a lot, which is Eddie Trunks. I,
Uh-huh.
I don't know exactly why. Gene and Paul doesn't want to, didn't want to be on Eddie, but that's between Eddie and Gene and Paul. I'm not going to say nothing negative about anybody,
Right.
but I know Ace was on there, and they were talking about it, and Ace made the remark, if Kiss wants him to come out on stage, they have to give him $250,000 a night.
Right.
When he said that, that was the end of it.
Yeah. Wow.
That was the end of it.
Mm.
And they had planned, and they were like, Ace and Peter had done some things. I don't know if you know about the situation with where Peter broke the wine bottle, champagne bottle, and
Right.
went out
Yeah. Yeah.
with it. Well, it's a lot more detailed than that. And they're
Right.
playing, and Paul is telling Peter to either slow down or go fast. I don't remember which one it was.
Right.
And so he does the complete opposite, and he goes to a crawl on stage. This is
Right.
in front of 20,000 people,
Hmm.
and spitefully do it. There's no room for that, man. Not in professionalism.
Right.
You wouldn't catch John Bonham or John Paul Jones or Robert. You wouldn't catch no professional band doing shit like that.
Right.
So as much as I love them, and I still love them to the end, because without the original four, and I would have loved to have seen them.
Right.
When I was at Kiss Alive, the Daily News did an interview with me, um, how I felt about Kiss being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and what did I think about them not performing. And my response to that in the Daily News was, I'm I'm a little disappointed, because Paul and Gene had always stated it's about the fans, everything they do for the fans. Well, I understand there's differences between them and Peter and Ace, and it's none of my business. It's nobody's business. It's their business, and they have the right to do whatever they want. I said, but for the fans, I felt they should have got up and done a couple songs with the original guys. I understand that they had members that was in the band longer than Ace and Peter. I get it. But Brian, and I know, the majority of diehard Kiss fans wanted to see the original four.
Oh yeah.
If that would have happened, dude, all I could say with capital letters is, oh my God, OMG.
Right.
And the fact that it didn't happen. And you know what? I respect Paul Stanley a lot too, because a lot of things he said about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I understand. I mean, like, it's a gentleman's club that picks and chooses and refuses. How is how is Bad Company not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? How
Right.
did it take Foreigner with all these hits to just be nominated to be rock and roll? All these great bands. How Deep Purple wasn't in there for the longest time. Rainbow. I mean, but you have, and no disrespect to hip hop bands, because they have their own genre, but they're not rock and roll. Let's be
Right.
honest. How
Right.
are you going to put them in ahead of these great rock bands? Richie Blackmore.
Right.
All these guys. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So
Wow.
when Paul Stanley said what he said in the induction, which, by the way, I think Tom Morello gave one of the best induction speech I ever heard in my
Yeah.
life.
Yep. Definitely. Yep.
I thought Tom was like, just, he could have ran for office, and he would have got a lot of votes. You know what I'm saying with that
Yeah.
speech?
Yeah.
He was great. But
Wow.
what Paul Stanley said was true too. He said, we don't want to be force fed what you want, and this, and and that they did it for the fans. And
Right.
I agree with Paul. They showed it for the fans. Just look at Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols. How
Right.
does the Sex Pistols get nominated before Kiss when they only
Yeah.
put out one album? One album. Don't get me wrong. Great album. Love Never Mind the Bollocks. Here's the Sex Pistols. Love that album. But nominated before, put in before a Kiss? Really?
Right. Hmm. Yeah.
So, I
Wow.
mean, call it, I mean, just, I wish they would have played. That's the bottom line. I just really do. I wish for one night, for half an hour, 15 minutes, whatever it is, they could have just said, let bygones be bygones. Let's get up there and do this for the fans.
Right.
But I can't reiterate more than anything that, having said all that, that's my personal feelings. But Paul is the leader of Kiss. A lot of people don't know that.
Mhm.
A lot of people think it's Gene. It's Paul.
Right,
And I know this from a lot of I think they said even two members of Kiss said if Paul doesn't want it to happen, it doesn't get done.
right, yeah. Wow,
Um, but the thing is, like I said, we're all when you take away all the nonsense because Brian, in life, whether it's rock and roll, it could be anything. There's always positives, there's negatives, there's all sorts of there's good, there's bad, there's in the middle. So that's just life.
right,
It's not going to change the way I look at Kiss. They're one of the most influential bands I have ever seen or will ever see. I love them. They definitely planted a seed in my life, and I'm sure a lot of other people, whether you're a musician or just a diehard fan,
right,
we love Kiss. We love Kiss. We'll always love Kiss. As
right,
Paul said on Kiss is eternal, man. They're eternal.
right. Now, Psycho Circus, do you have any shows coming up you like to talk about?
Yes, we have a show at Artie's coming up. We have a show at Dingbats coming up. We have a show 420. You know what day 420 is? Am I right, Brian?
Nope.
National Pot Marijuana Day.
Oh man, how could I forget that?
Well, we're playing 420 at a place called Quinn's Pins in
Uh-huh,
Middletown, New York, which is a pretty cool venue. I didn't know much about it, so the guy that does the booking, Steve,
uh-huh.
really nice guy, told me, "Come on up, check out the place, see if you like it." Blah, blah. I went up there, and a friend's band was playing there that I didn't know at the time, and I was good to see him. And there was an all-girl Motley Crue tribute band playing there too. They were pretty good. And I said, "Oh, this place is really cool, dude. They have 50 million pinball machines, Jimi Hendrix,
Wow,
Kiss, Led Zeppelin, this, that." And it was and cool stage, cool setup, and just you feel like you're in a time warp. You feel like you're almost back in the 80s, dude.
wow, wow,
So
wow.
I immediately fell in love with it. We're playing there 420 at Quinn's Pins. We're going to be doing Empire City Casino, Resorts World Casino, a bunch of different casinos. We're going to be doing a bunch of different theaters. We're going to be doing the Bijou Theater in Connecticut. And it goes on and on and on.
Wow. Excellent. Well, it was good talking to you, man. Haven't seen you in a long time. And would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you for the years of just coming out and supporting us and hanging out and being true Kiss fans and just having a great time. Stay safe, enjoy life, enjoy rock and roll. And we hope to see you at the next Psycho Circus show. And if you want to know a little bit more about us, go to Psycho Circus NYC Rocks at gmail.com. That's Psycho Circus NYC Rocks at gmail.com. Or you could go to psychocircusnyc.com and learn about us and see our videos and come on and say hello. And we're easy to get along with. We'd be more than happy to take pictures with you, do a shot with you, whatever. And thanks for giving your time. Greatly appreciate your time, Brian. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot. Talk to you later, man.
You got it, bro.
Bye bye.
Ciao.